So as most of you guys know, I stanced my Corvette and I'm rubbing a lot in the front as of now. I haven't shown you guys yet, but I lowered the front about another inch at least. The rear another inch, but it's like still, it's tucking a little bit. The rear is definitely gonna have to go lower. But anyways, the front is about as low as I could ever want it. It's right now, it's just rubbing way too hard on the inner fender, so we're gonna have to cut that out. Not the entire inner fender, just what I need for now, and then as I see what I need to cut more of, we're gonna just have to cut more of. But for right now, I know what I need to cut. I already have one fender off. So as you can see, I have the whole front bumper off, and that was just because my turn signals weren't working, so I went ahead and pulled it off, made sure everything was hooked up, and I had to replace some bulbs and shit, and that's why that's off, and it helps take off this fender. This fender is entirely loose right now. But if you take this fender off, we'll go ahead and put this to the side somewhere where it's not going to get wrecked. You can see that my inner fender is actually the same exact thing as this. So right now I'm rubbing all in this general area right here. So this is all going to need to be cut away, and I don't want to lose the structure for where the fender bolts in. Cut here, so it's still going to keep this kind of like backbone thing just for the fender to bolt onto, but this and this is all going to be cut away. I'm probably going to start here and end here, somewhere around here, and then like I said, cut right there so that this still exists and at least gives some kind of structure. I might eventually put some kind of metal just for a little bit more structure. Depending on how low I actually decide to go, I might eventually have to create my own inner fender, just because there's so much stuff actually attached to this thing that it's like there needs to be some kind of bracketry that it still exists, but without the inner fender actually existing because of, you know, rubbing. The wheels that I'm getting aren't going to be with the tire, just because even though I'm getting bigger wheels, the tires are going to be a lower profile, so overall the diameter shouldn't be changing too much. So with the tire on here now, I should be completely fine with making enough clearance. And if you guys didn't notice or didn't see, this is my ECU right here. Isn't that super funky? They put the ECU in like the, I don't even know why they would do that. Anyways, we'll get to cutting, see how much we got to cut, and then we'll have to duplicate it on the other side. The other side is quite a lot different, just the way that everything is placed, just because the windshield washer fluid thing might be in the way, but I could probably just take that out and maybe put like a smaller reservoir. So as you can see, this side is obviously a little bit different, just because the design of the inner fender is actually different itself due to the different shaped reservoir. First thing to do is remove this fender, and then we'll go ahead and remove this reservoir. That is going to have to be replaced and removed and moved to a different spot, just because we're cutting away from basically where it attaches to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blue tape and I'm going to tape off where I want to cut, just so I don't cut anything that I don't want to. Obviously, I want to keep as much of the car complete as possible. Now for the most part, this side should be done. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the wheel on here, see how it all fits. Now, I do understand that some things will change once I get my other wheels. Obviously, they're going to be wider, they're going to be sticking out more. So, for right now, this is perfectly fine, and I have plenty of travel. I'm probably still going to be rubbing a little bit, but that's to be expected. Obviously, I don't have any crazy high spring rate, and then again, I don't want to get one. I could get my Power Tricks coilovers with a Swift spring and then get them revalved. I could do like some, you know, crazy specs on the coils. I could be doing like 50K springs, but I'm not going to do that because I do want to drift this thing. So obviously with drifting, you don't want 50K springs. I mean, I'm sure I could, but it's unrealistic, and I definitely want something a little bit softer, and I'm not going to be drifting at this height. So many guys, I don't really understand why you would think that I would be drifting at this height. Obviously, I'm going to raise it when I go drifting, but for right now, I'm focusing on the stance. I want to get it ready for future events. I just want it all set up how I want it, and then I will move on to the drift side of it. For right now, this side is good. I'm going to go ahead and jack it back up. I got to throw this fender back on, and then I'm going to move on to the other side. Just now got this side all finished up. We can move on to the other side, and the other side is actually a lot simpler. Should be easy. Now, I know this question is going to be asked, and it's how I jack up this car. Now, it's too low to be able to jack it up in any of the jack points currently, so what I do is I take the jack, and I have to put it under the rear control arm. And I can't even put it under the rear subframe just because it's too low, and even at that, it's gonna be going even lower. So, I jack it up here. Obviously, you know, not one of the safest places to do it, but I just get it up enough that I can get this wood 4x4 under the frame here. I try and get it as forward as possible if I am trying to jack up the front, and then there's the jack point that's right here. So I normally like to put the jack right here, you know, after I take it out from behind there, and I bring it here. But since I have to put the fender on and it kind of gets in the way, I'm putting it a little bit more towards the center. Just let it down, get it out. We bring this over here, and it slips right in. Try and center it on the frame rail. You can see actually the frame rail go up. You can see it better on the other side, but obviously since the ECU is in the way, and that is how you do it. Next thing to do is go ahead and pop this wheel off, start cutting away. I'm gonna go ahead and call it at that. There are some other points where it is rubbing, but it's not really stuff that I kind of want to mess with. It's just kind of over by the coolant reservoir and over here, and it's not rubbing too much at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it all back together right now and drive it around more. I'll see if it's more of an issue where it is rubbing where I didn't cut, and then if it becomes more of an issue, then I'll cut more. But for right now, this is all I want to do, and this should be plenty, at least for now. So as you can see in this corner, the really only thing that might be still a problem is over here in this corner where this fuse box is. So this side is actually a lot better and easier than the other side. The other side definitely might need some more work. As you can see here, it's still really close here. Obviously I can just cut this here, but even at that, no matter what I do here, it's gonna be close all the way down until I start cutting more. But I don't really want to cut too much, so I'm gonna see how it drives right now. Maybe we'll take it for a ride and see how it drives. I haven't driven it at this height yet. It's about an inch lower all around than the last time you guys saw me drive it. So the battery was so dead that we couldn't even drive it yesterday. So we just let it sit, trickle charge overnight, and it should start. We'll see. Oh, it's still rubbing so bad. Whole key, wait 10 seconds.
What?
For what?
What the fuck? That was terrible.
That hurt. God.
Oh god. Let me watch this real quick. Yeah.
It's a little bit lower.